My name's Maggie Becker, pronoun she, her, hers. I'm an associate director in the Filene Center for Academic Advising and Career Services. I'm super informal, so if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to post them in the chat or raise your hand. I have a PowerPoint just to kind of keep me on track because I could talk forever about careers. And then we'll open it up and just answer all of your questions. All right. So Career Services is a place where you can come to really ask any of your questions related to what can I do with a major, or what kind of internships or jobs are out there? What does the graduate school process look like? I'm interested in some competitive fellowships and scholarships. You know, we're kind of the place for personal and professional development to get those questions about connecting your academics with whatever your postgraduate plans are. Although we're located in Collette Hall or Filene Center, we're available virtual. Similarly, although our hours are 8:30 to 4:30 Eastern time, if anyone is remote and needs different time slots, we're happy to accommodate. Career Services is for everyone. So even if you don't know what your major is, or you're a first-year student through a senior and also alumni, we're here to support you. I've had students come to me and say, I know I should be working with you, but I don't really know what to be asking you about. And then we can start and kind of have a conversation from there. The team in the Filene Center that's on the career side is composed of Allie Baldwin, myself, Lisa Gavigan, Matt Wheeler, and we're also in the process of hiring some great career peer advisors that can be great partners with WAM, as well as all of us. And so we're all here as a resource to really help you on your journey. If you are not familiar with Handshake, I'm going to talk more about it, but a website that you should take a photo of and bookmark is wheatonma.joinhandshake.com. That is your link to the world of careers. Sometimes I know that the word career can be a little bit overwhelming. It kind of, at least for me, I know it makes me feel sometimes like I have to have it all figured out, but that's actually not the case. It's a great place to just kind of go and talk to us to get you thinking about, all right, I think I might want an internship next summer. What does that look like? Or what types of opportunities are out there? Or what is an industry and what companies exist that want to hire me? And we can have any and all of those conversations. So a little bit about what Career Services has to offer. If you think about writing a resume or cover letter, we're a place for that, but we're also a place for you to practice interviewing. We can actually record mock interviews where we record it on the screen and then go back and watch it together. I'd say it's probably the most uncomfortable but best thing you will ever do for yourself is to have a recorded interview to learn about some of your strengths and areas to maybe grow or focus on developing when it comes to interviewing. We offer funding opportunities through the Wheaton Edge and some other funding for experiential learning. And what that allows you to do is if you find an unpaid internship, there's some funding so you can get some money. But also remember, there are a lot of paid internships, and I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit. If you don't know what you can do with your major when it comes to the world of work, we can help with that. We can help you find internships, full-time jobs. If you think that you might want a part-time job, either off campus or virtually, we can help with that. We have a lot of resources that we've created specifically for Wheaton. We're putting on a career fair coming up, which I'll talk a little bit more about. Career fairs are a great way for employers to come to Wheaton because they want to hire Wheaton students like yourself. And student athletes are definitely an attractive group to employers because you bring so many transferable skills from being a student athlete. We can help you, from how do I create a LinkedIn to what do I actually do on it and how do I make it work for me. And then we also have employers that come on campus to either do interviews or information sessions. So this is just a little bit of the wide variety of things we can help you with. I want to call out some of the funding that we help facilitate. So if you're thinking about a winter internship or a winter experience, we have some wintership funding. If you see a conference you want to go to, the Wagner Professional Development will, either help you with attending a virtual conference or some virtual or in-person networking events, so we can help with that. And then of course our Merit and Wheaton Edge program for some of those unpaid summer experiences. Davis helps you get exposure to international experiences, and Porter Cleveland is really neat as there are some great opportunities in Cleveland that you can check out. So these are all opportunities for funding should you get an unpaid experience and are looking for some financial support. Now, Handshake is the best tool out there for college students when it comes to finding a job, because this is specifically for you. And it allows you a lot of great opportunities to connect with employers, to search and apply. And it's also how you would go about scheduling an appointment with me or anyone else. Again, Handshake is kind of your inside scoop, so to speak, and your resource to getting you connected to all things kind of outside of academics and Wheaton. So when you think about, what is this Handshake thing? The big pieces or the advantage of Handshake is really, it's the #1 tool where employers that want to hire college students are looking for you or for students. So if there is a company that wants to hire an intern or a recent grad, they are in Handshake. There's over 500,000 employers that include a lot of the Fortune 500s, nonprofits, government agencies, just to name a few. It's also a place where recruiters will reach out to students in Handshake. And if you have a complete profile, and students are encouraged to fill out their profile and we can help them with that, they're 80% more likely to have a recruiter message them. I've had students that get invited for interviews without ever actually hitting apply, because a recruiter was searching by their profile, saw something about them, and they can search by keywords. So having their, their team on there, their transferable skills, past work experiences, projects from class, etc., will help them stand out. I don't recommend that students don't apply, to kind of find some of those opportunities, but an added benefit is that employers are messaging Wheaton students. In fact, over the summer, there was about 30 different messages of employers that reached out to Wheaton students. Since it's a platform for college students, no one's expecting students to have, experience. It's great if you do. And I mean, being a student athlete really sets you apart and has some great experience for you to kind of give you that extra advantage. It's a neat tool to find jobs that are right for you. The more you use Handshake, the more it works similar to Netflix. And actually it's kind of has similar background algorithms that the more you like things, the more you fill out your profile and career interests. On your landing page, it will actually show recommended jobs for you or jobs that other students are looking at. And again, they're really pretty much, if you're thinking about an organization, it's probably in Handshake because it's the #1 place for kind of the intersection of employers, students, and having that Wheaton core connection. Because if there is a position posted in Handshake, someone specifically said, I want to post this to Wheaton students and Wheaton alumni. So that's a really neat thing about it, is that it's kind of the #1 place for people to post positions to hire Wheaton. So for anyone thinking about like, all right, I want to start looking, it's activating your Handshake account, updating your profile, and filling out your career interests. One of my personal favorite things to do with students is to work with them to kind of fill out those things, because I like to say, hey, have you done this? Or do you know what this means? And then together, students get a deeper insight into the world of different careers. There's a whole job roles part where they can discover job roles that they might not have heard of. And in fact, in my experience, most students will wind up getting jobs that they've never heard of before, or work for an organization that they might not have heard of either. Handshake makes it easy. You can literally apply for jobs right through Handshake. I also recommend that students go to the company website and apply there too, but it does make it easy to apply. And then there's also, students can kind of monitor their applications in here if they apply through Handshake. There's a great Q&A section. So students will post career questions to one another and can also answer career questions. And then it's also a tool where students can network with peers. And so what that means is that students can actually search by students on a specific sport team. They can search by students with a specific major or have worked at a organization that interests them. They can actually message each other through the system and say, hey, I see that you work at X, or you're also involved in Y. I want to know more about your experiences. And from students, they've shared that this networking through Handshake with peers is a really good way to become more comfortable with what networking is. Now, in terms of individual appointments, currently just due to COVID, all of our appointments are virtual. Students can choose from virtual, phone call, or even have kind of a booking where we might review their resume or cover letter or statement asynchronously. These are just a few of our topics. What I like is that if a student's not sure where to begin, schedule a getting started. If you're a senior and just kind of getting started and curious, post-grad planning, you know, or any one of these in between. And it's really up to the student if they want to spend 30 minutes with us or 60 minutes with us. And so these are just some of the few topics that we offer. Inside of Handshake, we have a really neat tool called What Can I Do with This Major? Now, I think it's helpful for people that know what their major is, because it tells you areas you can work in, types of employers that hire your major, strategies to stand out, and then a bunch of external websites to learn more. For students interested in having or looking for an international internship or job when the world opens back up for us, or for international students looking to learn a little bit about which companies might have sponsored H-1Bs in the past, Going Global is a really neat tool. I also like it because there's some city guides in there. So if a student is looking to even explore a different area of the US, they can do that. Career Shift is one of my favorite tools, although I might say that for every tool, because again, career just kind of oozes out of me and I find it fun and exciting. But Career Shift will find you any job posted on the internet. So Handshake is great because you know if it's a job posting in there, the company wants to hire a Wheaton student, but that might just be a subset of all the opportunities out there. So Career Shift will literally find you any job that's posted on the internet in US, as well as some other countries as well, any contact. So for example, I had a student the other day that wanted to be a medical illustrator. We looked in Career Shift. We found them a bunch of contacts of people who are actually doing that type of work. Or I've had students that have said to me, I really want to work at Boston Consulting Group. How do I find some contacts? It can help you with that. And then it even gives you emails for you to reach out. And it helps find companies that exist by industry and location. As I recommend to students, that you start building a list of about 30 organizations you want to work for, and then slowly start to network and apply and things like that. Now, these top three resources on the screen, Career Shift, Going Global, and What Can I Do with This Major, are all located inside of Handshake in the resources section. Any students that want to learn more about this, I always say schedule an appointment and we can kind of navigate through them, and I can coach you on how I would use it, so that way you can learn how to be strategic in them. Don't forget about LinkedIn. There's a lot of great groups, a lot of great student athlete groups and Wheaton specific groups. You can also search to see where all Wheaton alumni are working. And there's also a Wheaton Connect resource as well, which is Wheaton's own alumni database. I always tell students to kind of look in both, but it's a good way to also meet and connect with other former student athletes. These here are some of the workshop topics. So if you want to have a topic specifically for your team, we can partner together and do that. It can be a formal presentation or just a casual career chat. It's whatever works best for you and your team. These are just some of the topics. I've gotten a lot of inquiries around like the majors, companies, careers, and industries, because I like to just show students what the resources are to learn about all the options. Similarly, not a lot of students know that you can negotiate your salary. You can even negotiate your internship salary too. And so we can coach students on how to do that. And my favorite is thinking through all of the great transferable skills that you have as a student athlete, and how do you really highlight them when you're writing a resume and cover letter. Or my favorite is how do you make them come alive on an interview or showcase them in your LinkedIn and Handshake profile. Now, these are the top 10 skills that employers are looking for when they review a student's resume for an internship or a full-time job. Now, what I love about this is that we could brainstorm examples of being a student athlete in each of these 10 skills. It also shows that rarely do employers want to hire a particular major. They're looking for these skills. They can teach students how to do the job, but they expect students to bring these from day one. I like to tell students when they read job descriptions, remember that the responsibilities is what you will do. You want to be excited about them. You're going to get trained on how to do them. The qualifications part is what they expect you to bring. However, it's also a dream list. So as long as you have at least half of the requirements, you should be applying. For seniors, if it says anything really between 0 and 3 years, you should definitely be applying, which brings me to another point. When you're working on a resume, make sure you have months with your dates and not spring or fall, because using months will help the other person calculate your years of experience, and all those little pieces add up. So again, these are really the skills to emphasize. And I like to do activities where we kind of brainstorm, what does it look like, or even how can you connect your values as a student athlete with the values of organizations, because you're evaluating an organization just as much as they're selecting you to join. And so how can you do that to make sure there's alignment? Now this here is one of my favorite images that I found, because it shows you what the timelines are. So if you are a business student and you are looking for an internship for next summer or a full-time job from a larger organization, you need to be applying now. Large companies, especially in business, technology, some of the STEM areas, computer science, some of the government agencies, they are recruiting now because they're looking to have students apply in September and October, interview in November, and get hired before winter break. So for those competitive programs, you need to be looking and applying now. Now for some of the nonprofit roles, some of the life science areas, those tend to pick up a little bit more in the spring, but I don't recommend students, if you are ready and know you want an internship for next summer, or that you have a broad idea, or want to start checking out some of those full-time roles, you really want to start now. I mean, our student athletes are so competitive in the workplace. I want to make sure that Wheaton students are able to be competitive with the best of the best out there. And a lot of organizations are recruiting now. We can always talk more about timelines. I suggest to students, let's schedule an appointment. Let's talk about your interests and figure out a game plan to maximize your time. Job searching is not something you kind of sit down and do in one day. I think about it like time management and recommend that students put a few hours, every week to different pieces of it. If you're a senior, you've probably started getting weekly emails where I give you 3 action steps or things to think about for the week. If you focus on those 3 things for the week, you're doing good. You're on good pace to be exploring and thinking about different things. A few digos. So an average intern makes $17 an hour. Not everyone is familiar with rotational leadership programs. Those are for full-time. So an employer would be looking now to hire a class of 2021 graduate. And what these rotational leadership programs are they're usually around 2 years. You work 6 to 8 months or a year in different disciplines within the company. They develop you as a leader. And then at the end of that 2-year period, you're able to take on a full-time role within the company. These are full-time positions, paid salary, benefits, usually a little higher in salary, but it's because the company sees you as a leader and wants to develop you and expose you to different areas within their organization. These recruit now, so if a student's interested in these, let's definitely get connected and explore that. Federal government, their process is a little bit different. If a student is interested in working, let's say for the NIH or EPA or NASA, whatever it might be, your resume is going to look different. The process is going to look different. I just say that as an FYI, so that way students can learn and explore resources. Don't forget about summer research. There's a lot of great research that takes place on Wheaton campus, but there's also research at other colleges and universities across the country. Those tend to be called summer REUs or SURFs, S-U-R-F. But if you search for SURF, just make sure you add research. Otherwise, you'll get a lot of great surfing articles and information. We can talk more about that offline too. We've created 20 specific Wheaton career guides for Wheaton students. Those are all located inside of Handshake. And we have 28 different YouTube videos that are now live. And actually, I can thank Wheaton Athletics for helping us establish our YouTube channel, as over the summer we had some great sessions about your transferable skills as a student athlete, or looking ahead and kind of what you should be thinking of as you explore a career or a post-grad plan. So there are a few on there that are student athlete specific, so check them out. I can't stress enough, students should have complete profiles in Handshake because employers are actively messaging students that have a profile. You can get peer-to-peer advice, kind of that networking, and then learning about different job roles, average salaries that college students across the country have for those roles, as well as popular cities, and some jobs posted in Wheaton or for Wheaton. As of today, there are 3,100 active postings for Wheaton students and alumni in Handshake. So that's 3,100 positions that someone select. Yes, I want to post for Wheaton. I think Wheaton would be great talent at our organization. There are currently 835 internships posted right now. I did a search for summer 2021. Now, not every organization will call out that the internship is in summer 2021, but they are. There's also some academic year ones in there too. There are 205 called out for next summer already. Why do I really emphasize this is that if you know that you want to be looking for an internship, start now. Of those 205, 93% of them are paid. Now, out of the 1,800 plus full-time jobs in Handshake for Wheaton, 195 of them are calling out specifically 2021. I say this because I can't stress enough. If you are ready to get started now, on internships and full-time jobs for next summer, start now to be competitive and have your options. And there are 549,000 employers in Handshake wanting to hire college students. I also recommend it's so easy to spend a lot of time thinking about a position before you hit apply. So hit apply, get the offer, and then decide. A save the date, our virtual career and internship fair where employers want to hire Wheaton students for internships and full-time jobs, both academic year and for next summer, will be taking place September 29th, Eastern time. It's all through Handshake, so just save a date for that. And the benefits of attending a fair is really to meet employers, begin learning about opportunities, applying, practicing talking about yourself, or what's called an elevator pitch, preparing, and we can help you with all of that if you're interested in learning more about how to prepare. And here's just a little bit about some things to do next. So scheduling an appointment, coordinating a program for your team, learning more about careers that interest you in the timelines, and attending that virtual event. If you have a camera out, take a snapshot on the screen. Follow us on social media as we share career advice and upcoming events. And so I hope that's a good intro, a little bit about what career services can do for you and some of the things that we offer.